Busy morning, and of course our reporters, we have Kylie Kubalo, we have Griselda Lewis, as well as our correspondent Sophie Mokoena, who are out at the OR Tambo International Airport, and this is of course where they are awaiting the arrival of the flotilla activists, those who are on board the Sumud flotilla, and they are expected to touch down in exactly an hour from now. And just to show you, we do have our cameras there, and people are arriving, trying to make their way through there to welcome those activists back. So we'll keep you up to speed with those developments. Now, the Loeries are Africa and the Middle East's premier creative awards, and they've been there for over 14 years. Now, it recognizes and fosters creative excellence in advertising and brand communication industry. The Loeries promote and support creativity by helping marketers, agencies, as well as consumers appreciate the value of fresh thinking and outstanding execution. So in order to highlight this, the SABC has once again partnered with the Loeries for the Loeries Creative Week 2025 that is being held this week until Friday. And of course, we have our reporter Vanessa Poonah out there in Cape Town, and she of course is being joined by the SABC's Group Chief Executive Officer Nomsa Chabeli, as well as the Loeries Chief Executive Officer Preetesh Sewra. So let's take you there to Cape Town. Vanessa Poonah there for us. We've just lost that connection to Vanessa. She is there. All the guests are there. So let's try it once again. I believe we have her up. Vanessa, if you can hear me, it's so exciting, this partnership once again between the SABC and the Loeries. But of course, you have people there who can speak to this. Talk to us about this.
Yes, good morning to you, and a very warm welcome to Cape Town, of course, the Cape Town office of the SABC, where I'm joined by two very important guests this morning. First is the CEO of the Loeries, as you've mentioned there, Mr. Preetesh Sewra, and of course, the SABC's Group CEO, Ms. Nomsa Chabeli, of course, will be speaking about this exciting partnership between the SABC and the Loeries. Of course, we know that it's not quite a new partnership. The Loeries almost as old there, Preetesh, as SABC TV, over 40 years. And that, of course, is celebrating excellence as well as innovation in the brand communication space. But let me bring in now our GCEO first. A very warm good morning to you. Of course, always good to speak to you. Let us start, and I think I've alerted you to this. You are coming with exciting news today. Not just is it the partnership with the Loeries, of course, but the SABC has a second consecutive clean audit finding from the Auditor General. This must be exciting news for you to share.
Thank you so much, and good morning to you and good morning to everyone. Yes, the SABC for the second consecutive year has an unqualified audit outcome, which is testament to the SABC's internal controls and strengthened governance. And this is critical for us, in an era where we're moving forward to find a sustainable funding solution for the SABC. And therefore, the SABC having such an outcome gives comfort, especially to our partners, that the SABC is committed to an improved governance within the organization.
So what exactly does this mean, I think, for future sustainability as well as future financial viability of this organization?
I think what's important about this is to show the leadership of the SABC is really paying attention to the levers that matter. If you think, last year was the first time in 14 years that we got an unqualified outcome, and we know the challenges that the SABC has experienced in recent times. And this type of outcome shows the progress that has been made with the oversight of the SABC board. And what's important is that, as we know, the SABC is a very commercialized public broadcaster. In fact, it's the most commercial public broadcaster in the world. Therefore, we depend on commercial revenue in order for us, to sustain the activities of the organization. And when we get such an outcome, we give comfort to not just, the financial markets, but importantly also to our advertisers, to say that their money is safe with the SABC because this is an organization that is well run, this is an organization that has good governance, and this is an organization that really wants to position SOEs as centers of excellence, and the fact that we are able to deliver on this important public mandate despite the challenges that we face.
So let me just give us 1 second, please, Nomsa, if I can just chat to my other guest, of course, Preetesh Sewra, mentioning there the GCEO, the importance of advertising. And of course, we know that when we talk Loeries, we're talking about excellence in innovation in the brand communication space, and advertising and design, of course, very important in that aspect. So let us just start with what the Loeries are all about. Over 40 years, it started out as supporting advertising in television news, and of course we've come quite a long way since television being the prime or only platform really for advertising in the advertising space. Where are we currently with the Loeries and its significance still at this juncture?
Yeah, good morning and thanks for having me on. I think one of the key things with Loeries is we celebrate every single touch point that you have to be able to reach and speak to consumers. And obviously as mediums evolve, and as I said, we did start off in radio and television, all the space, and those are like so intrinsically important to societies across South Africa as well. So we want to ensure that those are exceptionally strong, and then also enhancing that with digital offerings, out of home, all of these kind of spaces. But essentially in a unified media environment, what we're looking for is how do we ensure that consumers across South Africa, and for us, across Africa and the Middle East, have the best knowledge to be able to navigate a complex purchasing environment.
So, of course, we know that you've said to me just now over 2,000 entrants this year, and we know that the award ceremony happens on Friday. But, of course, if I can just bring in Ms. Chabeli once again, an exciting partnership, of course. We know that there is a masterclass happening. We know that, as always, we are in the middle of Creative Week with the Loeries 2025. So the extent of involvement of this partnership of the SABC in Loeries, talk us through how important this is for the organization, and also just some of the events that you will be sponsoring, supporting. I know that one of them is the category film and radio, if I'm not mistaken.
So as part of SABC's public mandate, we drive social cohesion in this country, and we tell, proud South African stories. Nothing tells a South African story like its brand communications. The brands that are here at, Creative Week that are going to be awarded for their excellent and innovative work in the next couple of days tell those beautiful South African stories. And therefore, it makes sense for the SABC to partner with the Loeries, because we are by far one of the most important platforms where that content gets broadcast and gets to South African households, to South African, viewers, to South African listeners. And this weekend, we sponsor two of the biggest categories, for example, which is radio and film. And they've always been very important categories within the Loeries. And the SABC will be there, showcasing the innovation. South Africa's creative arts industry is a very important industry, and SABC, by virtue of just us giving the platforms for all the languages, for example, in this country, we've got 19 radio channels, we've got 5 television channels, and the fastest growing OTT streaming platform, which is SABC Plus. By virtue of that reach, of that strength, the content that is produced within this industry then finds, expression on our platforms. And that is why the SABC is here. We truly believe in the creative industry. We believe that they tell a beautiful South African story, that they are archivists, just like SABC, South Africa's greatest archivists, but they are also archivists of the South African story. And this partnership, we believe that will grow the industry and will bring young people into the industry to ensure its sustainability and the fact that the South African, the African story is front and center.
And talking about storytelling, of course, we know that I've spoken to Preetesh just now. He was talking about storytelling in the brand communication space, really looking towards shaping society. I mean, let's just elaborate on that. What important message do you think, important role does this play in terms of shaping society?
Yeah, I think it's so important. The cultural narratives that we have in terms of the industry, what we do is we reflect what's happening in culture, but also then we also shape culture as well overall itself. And therefore, as Nomsa is highlighting, the importance of storytelling and the importance of the relationship with the SABC itself is that when you want to tell those stories, you need the vehicles, you need the avenues to be able to do so. Without the vehicles and all of the various languages, the various mediums such as film and radio, what we lose out is that diversity of thought, and we lose these beautiful stories from our society itself. And so therefore, I think one of the key things that we're able to deliver with this partnership and deliver with the SABC in general is this ability to go to this industry and say, feel free to tell the stories that really matter to South Africa. Feel free to tap really deeply into the zeitgeist of what's happening and to those deep cultural nuances, and let's celebrate it and ensure that those are not forgotten.
Preetesh Sewra, and of course the CEO of the Loeries, as well as my other guest, the GCO of the SABC, joining me here today for this exciting news happening amid an exciting creative week for the Loeries 2025, and of course that partnership, just speaking to the importance thereof and also what it means both to the Loeries as well as to the public broadcaster.
Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. And of course, such an exciting partnership, and it is one that I think looks to two analogous brands there in the SABC and, of course, the Loeries. So looking forward to seeing what comes out of that as the week progresses.